Defense is the word of the day. The defense gets it done for us today, Dolphins fans. Knock off the Las Vegas Raiders 20-13, and a little bit of a closer margin coming down to the wire. We talk about those high blood pressure games. Didn't want this to be one of those. I didn't think this should be one of those. We were the biggest favorite on the Week 11 board, favored by 13.5 points. We beat the Raiders by 7. Not super encouraging. We are going to get into all these takeaways and thoughts, and I do want to hear from you as well. Your top thoughts, your top takeaways. Who gets your game ball? Drop all that stuff in the comments. If you haven't gotten subscribed yet, make sure you are doing that. But let's talk about this defense. Before we even get into any of these takeaways, this defense, since Jalen Ramsey has started playing football in the regular season for our Miami Dolphins, we've allowed 17, 21, and 13. Now, keep in mind, 10 of New England's 17 points were essentially given to them by our Dolphins offense. 7 of the Kansas City's points of their 21 were 100% given to them by our offense. When Tyreek caught the screen, he fumbled, they housed it. And then today, 6 more essentially handed over to the Las Vegas Raiders because of our offense. So if you think about that, we gave up a touchdown. We're going to talk about that. I want to talk about that first and foremost because Ramsey, the defense, like I've been talking about, they come through. The most important parts of today's game, the final 2 defensive possessions, the second to last possession, it's 4th and 6. They've got to go for it. Christian Wilkins gets his pressure. He has Aiden O'Connell wrapped up. He's got essentially the sack coming. O'Connell has to get rid of the ball, something. He flips it forward. Jaelan Phillips picks it off. You think, great, this game is under wraps. We just got to get a couple of first downs. Game's over. Well, offense gets what? 1 first down. We can't kill the clock. Vegas gets the ball back with basically 2 minutes left. Then they start driving. They get down to the Dolphins' 39-yard line. You're like, man, this bend but don't break. Yeah, they're running out of time, but man, we need to make a play. Aiden O'Connell tries to make his play. He takes his end zone shot. But guess who's there? It's that name. How do I put my finger? Right there. Man, what a play. To be able to, the word that comes to mind, and it's an obvious word, seeing that interception and watching the replay back, just athleticism. This is a guy that's coming back from a knee injury, knee surgery, and to be able to adjust and jump and get into the air and be able to basically kind of bobble that ball, but bring it back in. Unbelievable. The defense wins the day for the Miami Dolphins today. And like I said, the Dolphins offense responsible for some of those points. Again, the 2 Raiders field goals today is a Tua fumble. They get the ball at the 30. Julian Hill, you get the fumble, you get the ball at the 32. You're already within field goal range on both of those. The only points the defense was truly responsible for today, the 46-yard touchdown by Davante Adams. And if you watch that play back, we're in zone coverage. He works his way through one defender. He works his way past Holland. It's basically Deshaun Elliott at the end. Elliott has some issues tracking the ball in that situation. And Davante Adams shows why he's one of the best wide receivers in the league. It happens. That happens every once in a while. Outside of that, bend but don't break. But even that, it was constantly getting pressures on O'Connell, finishing with sacks a couple of times as well. The defense showed out today. Defense, main reason we won today. Let me get to my next point here. I'm sorry, I rambled on for a little bit there. I want to talk a little bit about the offense though today, because I do think that we showed a fair share of rust. Especially on the offensive side of the ball today. You got a poorly thrown interception by Tua Tagovailoa. You've got a fumble by Tua Tagovailoa. You got a fumble by Julian Hill. We had a holding call at a crucial point against Teron Armstead. The offense did not look like the offense that leads the NFL in points per game, yards per game, passing yards per game, second in rushing yards per game. And then also, besides the interception that Tua threw, the ball that he threw to Waddle, I believe it was in the red zone, throws it into triple coverage to Jalen Waddle just because it was where he was going to go. It seemed like he had that predetermined. It sort of seemed like he had a wheel route that maybe would have come open if he could have pumped to Waddle, hit that wheel route for the touchdown. But that play in general is a kind of an example of the pitfalls of throwing to windows in a timing-based offense. And quite honestly, it's week 11. I don't know that we evolve past that. That's just kind of how this offense is set up, which it gives you a little bit of, hopefully we don't have to go through that again, because if we play a better team today, especially a team that plays better on the offensive side of the ball, Raiders they are who they are. They've gotten their last 2 wins. Outside of that, they haven't done much impressive yet this year. If we play a better team this week, we probably don't win. And a lot of that was because of that offensive rust this week. Hopefully we can shake that because, yeah, we do have a short rest period this time. We're on the road. We got to go to the Jets and play on Black Friday, but we definitely got to improve because that Jets defense is no joke. Let's talk about these short yardage situations, though, because is this frustrating to just me, or can someone join me? Say hell yeah in the comments if you believe it, because what a source of frustration for this football team. And it's not just today, but the issues were absolutely highlighted today. And the first one, 4th and 1, you're down by the goal line, you throw a screen pass to Tyreek Hill. Theoretically, you're like, well, it's Tyreek Hill, get him the ball. That's great and all. But realistically, being able to look back at it, one, can we be done with these screen passes on these crucial plays? We talked about the Chiefs game, how we handed them 7 points. He gets hit, he fumbles, we give the Chiefs 7 points. Today, he catches the ball, and then what happens? We don't get the first down, he gets hurt on it and everything. And quite honestly, you throw a screen pass down by the goal line. I don't like questioning Mike McDaniel's play calling, but in my opinion, that's a bad play call because you're by the goal line. There's not a lot of field that the defense has to respect. They're going to be by the line of scrimmage. You're basically throwing it to where the defender is going to be. I don't like that. And like I said, Tyreek ends up getting his hand injured on the play. And now, obviously, it's hard to blame a play call for an injury, but it happened. Regardless, Mike McDaniel right now has no faith in this run game to get a yard, to get 1 yard in a crucial situation. And I do have a theory on that. And my theory is I think he trusts his scheme and his overall game plan and how those two gel and merge together than he trusts an actual individual performance from the offensive lineman. What I mean by that is we've got the rushing stats. We've proven that we've been able to run the ball this year. I said going into today's game, we averaged the 2nd most rushing yards per game in the entire NFL, but that's because of the scheme and the game plan. When we need to line up, simply get a yard, the confidence is completely lost, and we resort to screen passes and play action passes and just typical non-running of the ball plays. And we saw it highlighted again in today's game because it's 4th and 1. It's near the end of the 3rd quarter. We're in field goal range. It's a longer field goal, but we're always going for that with Mike McDaniel. Today, we opt for a 51-yard field goal after Jason Sanders had already missed from 50 plus. Now, you could look at this as, well, this is Mike McDaniel saying, we want to give this guy confidence. If it comes up, we need to show Jason Sanders, who struggled, it seems to be, with some confidence issues from these longer field goals. So getting his confidence up, sure, that's great. I can fall in love with that situation, but at the same point in time, Mike McDaniel goes for it. The analytics will tell you that. Common sense almost tells you that. Mike McDaniel's just his mantra as a head coach says, I am going for this. My offense isn't coming off the field for a 50-yard field goal. So I don't know what the remedy is for these short yardage situations. Maybe it's when the offensive line is completely back and healthy. Maybe it's Jeff Wilson would have been active for today. You got a bigger bodied guy. Regardless, I absolutely dread 3rd and 4th down, 3rd and 4th and 1 situations right now. Let's get into some some player notes from today. It's rinse, wash, repeat with Tyreek Hill. 10 catches, $146, and a touchdown. That was with him missing time in that game. He caught all but one of his targets. The touchdown pass, it looked like 2 or 3 guys were going to have a chance at him. Angles erased. He is an angle eraser. We talk about it all the time. The Savon Ahmed touchdown, perfect play call by Mike McDaniel. I say I don't like to question Mike McDaniel's play calls, and it's because of times like this. We've actually on defense been caught blitzing when teams are by about the 10-yard line, and it's cost us a couple of touchdowns. It happened against the Chiefs, happened against the Eagles. Today, it was us catching the Raiders in a blitz. Tua was able to hold the ball just long enough. Ahmed makes his cut. You get the throw, you get the completion. Connor Williams is already downfield. He takes care of the one guy remaining. Ahmed walks in for 6. Jaelan Phillips, he's healthy. He's confident. Monster today. 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, 3 quarterback hits. One play also by Bradley Chubb today. This is a super nice play that he had. And quite honestly, it nearly helped break the game wide open. We couldn't just finish. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. it's third down. It's like 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. The Raiders run a play to Josh Jacobs. Bradley Chubb gets in. He gets the tackle at the line of scrimmage. There's about 2 minutes left in the first half at that point in time. Forces the Raiders to punt. It was a great individual effort and play by Bradley Chubb. We get the ball back. Raheem Mostert goes for 10. Tua connects to Julian Hill for about 10. Then he fumbles. If he doesn't fumble on that play right there, we still would have had over a minute left. We would have had our timeouts. We would have had an opportunity to continue to drive down the field, add to a 14-10 lead that was already existing. Plus, we were getting the ball first to come out into the second half. Instead, that happens. We go into the half 14-13. So that's a long way to say the Bradley Chubb play was awesome. It could have been remarkable. It could have completely broke the game open. Finally, before I get to my game ball, keep an eye on the Devon Achane injury. It sounds like the previously injured knee got landed on. He felt a little something. Mike McDaniel did say that Achane did want to return, but ultimately Mike McDaniel said, no, we are playing it safe. Game ball, mine was obvious. I do want to hear from yours. Drop yours, your winner in the comments. Mine's Jalen Ramsey. 2 interceptions today, including the game ender, the game sealer. Also another play that he had that I had from my notes, Raiders are going for it on 4th and 2 in the 4th quarter. They target Jalen Ramsey. You just target anyone else. Why are you throwing at Jalen Ramsey? He essentially ran that route for the wide receiver. It was a beautiful play. Now has 3 interceptions in his 3 games played. This defense has changed with his presence, with his performance on the field. That is what I've got. Those are my top takeaways. That's my game ball, but let's hear from you, your top takeaways. Who gets your game ball? Drop those in the comments. We'll be back. We got a short week. Like I said, we'll be back with a couple of Jets preview and prediction videos as well. But until next time, Dolphins fans, enjoy this one. I know it wasn't fantastic, but hey, a win's a win. And at the end of the day, we're still going to be first place in the AFC East. So fins up to that.